In today's video, I'm going to be conducting a free SEO audit and strategy for a dentist in Dallas, Texas. And to kick things off with my SEO strategy, I always like to start by doing a technical audit. And so to do a technical audit, I'm going to use a tool called Screaming Frog. This tool scans every single page of a website and identifies all the technical opportunities for that particular website. And so there are a few options in terms of connecting API, but because this dentist is not a client of mine, there's going to be some APIs that I can't connect, but I can connect things like page speed insight to get insight into how quickly the website is loading, as well as Ahrefs. So what I'm going to do is plug in the website's domain and let that run. And while that's running, I'm going to get started looking at the content. All right, so the very first thing I want to do is come over to Ahrefs, plug in the website, and come down to Content Gap. And here I'm going to want to plug in the top competing domains and see what content her competitors are ranking for that she's not ranking for, because this is content that we're eventually going to want to build out and create on our own. So all I'm going to do is head over to Google and Google dentist in Preston, Texas, and open the top few results and grab their domain and plug them into the Content Gap. Let that run. All right, and so now I have a list of keywords that her competitors are ranking for that she's not ranking for. So I'm going to go ahead and export this list. And then I'm going to come back to my Screaming Frog crawl and export this as well once it's done, and then also take a look at it. All right, so while these things are loading, the next thing that I want to do is build out my dream sitemap. So these are all the pages that I'd want to have on the website, assuming the client approves. And all I did was I came to the client's, or the, not client, but the person's website, and I went through each of their services, and I see that they have general cosmetic services, then veneers, white filling, dental bridges, teeth, and then teeth whitening. And so that's what these are. And then I'm getting hyper specific by appending a location and then preparing the URL that I'd want to have. And I repeated that for each of their services and the top 3 locations that they'd want to rank for. So given that their name is Preston and they're in Dallas, I went with Dallas, Preston, and then I did note that they mentioned Park Cities quite a few times. And so this is just a starting off point of pages that we could create to bring in more leads for this business. So for example, like if I were to search sleep apnea treatment Preston, we should be able to really be at the top. And while this person is ranking in the 3rd position, the click-through rate drops significantly once you go from the 1st down to the 3rd. So in general, the 1st position gets about 57% of clicks. And once you get down to 3rd and beyond, it really only is like 10 or so percent. So we'd really want to go ahead and beef this page out a bit because it doesn't have a lot of information for somebody that's looking for sleep apnea treatment. And additionally, while we may be ranking for Preston, we would also want to be able to do the same for other neighboring towns such as Park Cities. And so, again, down further here, but there is the opportunity to be even hyper specific to these different areas within Dallas. And the way that you can decide if you want to target and create individual pages for these 2 different keywords or have it on the same page is to actually look at Google and see what Google is showing. So for example, if the search results are the same for both keywords for Park Cities as well as Preston, then you might be able to get away with having the all of this content on one page. However, in this case, we are seeing a lot of different results with the exception of this dentist. So it would be a great idea to create unique pages for these. All right, so coming back to my Screaming Frog crawl, it has wrapped up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this entire thing. And copy and paste it into my spreadsheet. So once we get this over into a Google Sheet, we can start color coding and highlighting things that stand out to us that we would need to remediate. So for example, short titles, duplicate titles, missing meta descriptions, missing H1s, etc. And so you can then start to take action on each of these and get everything cleaned up. All right, so now coming back to our content gap, I copied and pasted this over into our Google Sheet. So now we have a great list of starting off points that we can work with our keywords. And I also plugged in the pages that we're gonna wanna create or optimized based on the services that she offers. And so really focusing on these commercial keywords that actually drive sales is so important rather than just focusing on keywords that may get you a lot of traffic, because if you're just getting traffic without leads, that's not really the point of SEO. You want to make sure you're getting leads as well. So that's why I always like to add these in, and generally I'll prioritize these first. All right, and now moving on to usability and conversion rate optimization. One thing that I would recommend right off the bat is, instead of having a vertical menu, is to have a horizontal menu. Users have just come to expect this when they're browsing the internet, and this is a little bit distracting and not as easy to navigate. So making this horizontal would go a long way. I do like this little dark gray overlay with the call to action to have a free consultation. I like that free consultation is standing out right here, and it's great that they have some of the dentists behind the scenes, a real photo, as well as before and after photos is fantastic. I do see they are using quite a few stock images, and so I'd recommend going in there and replacing them with different pictures of the office, whether it's just the outside or empty chairs. Of course, you can't have patients in the pictures, but there are ways to definitely work around that, which would be a really go a long way, because you could use that in other marketing materials as well. And then coming over to our services, I'd want to build out all of these so it's not just a block of text. So when you're targeting a keyword that has commercial search intent, which meaning you want to hire a service provider, for example, you don't want to just have walls of text like you would see in a blog post. You want to have them broken out into different sections with images. Just make it super skimmable and easy to read, so that when somebody gets here, they're not immediately kind of wanting to leave because it doesn't feel like they're in the right spot, like they're on a service page learning about a service. And so for each of these individual service pages, I'd want to talk more about the services, answer FAQs, talk about the benefits, the process, why you should choose Preston Cherry Dental, etc. Certainly not least, I'm seeing that the overall website authority is very weak, and so this would need to be one of the very top priorities to start seeing some real SEO results. And so in order to build up your website authority, you need to get links from other websites, and there's a ton of different ways to do this, from guest blog posts to creating content that is linkable, and quite frankly, just to being part of different sponsorships. So for example, what we could do is we could do Dallas sponsors and come and take a look. For example, Dallas regional sponsors would be or regional chamber would be a great opportunity. And then we could also do this for Preston and the other neighboring areas as well. Sometimes schools in the area have them, which is a fantastic way to get your business in front of relevant customers, and that would absolutely need to go to the dentist. So this is just a couple of ways right off the bat. In addition, we can also use ChatGPT to come up with some content ideas to create content that is very linkable that we could promote to reporters and to other websites. And so using ChatGPT, we can use something simple like, please come up with 10 link bait ideas for a dentist in Dallas, Texas. And this will just come up with some good ideas. Of course, you'll probably want to refine it. I even added another prompt: consider data-driven assets or low-code tools. Again, not all will be applicable, but it's a really good way to get the wheels turning and to come up with some ways to get links passively, because that's absolutely going to be the cheapest. All right, so that takes me to the end of this SEO audit and strategy. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you. Bye.